Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon, the channel that made us want to throw slime on our friends and ruin the color orange for the rest of our lives. The channel currently exists as a streaming add-on for giants like Amazon and Peacock, but we remember it as an unhinged channel chock full of some memorable shows thanks to its slew of young talent. Unfortunately, not all young talent go on to, well, stay talent. Welcome to Beyond the Screen, I'm Nate, and today we're breaking down the top 10 Nickelodeon stars who lost their fame overnight. Number 10, Kel Mitchell. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? That sentence always blasts into my skull when I talk about Kel Mitchell, and I really hope it's the same for you. Kel was another young buck to be casted on the hit sketch show All That with Amanda Bynes and future best friend Kenan Thompson. Much like Amanda, Kel was asked to participate in a spin-off of All That, only this time he was in a straight-up sitcom rather than a sketch show. The show Kenan and Kel, starring Kel and Kenan Thompson, it's one of my favorite shows that was ever produced by the Nickelodeon channel. These two had incredible chemistry, so good that Nick backed a movie centered around their Good Burger sketch that has actually aged pretty well. His career never really took off after that, with him only appearing in the sitcom world and in a minimal capacity at that. But his loss of fame was self-inflicted. As his career on the screen slowed down, his family life had been nothing but going up. He decided to stay at home and focus on building a relationship with his wife and rapper, Asia Lee, and they are currently expecting a second child together sometime this year. Here's hoping that when the kids are all a little older that Kel can finally take some time off and make a return to the acting world for good. There was a rumor of a Good Burger 2 being in the works, so I don't know, let's start that now. Everybody, hashtag Good Burger 2, make that trend. Number 9, Miranda Cosgrove. Miranda may have rose to Nickelodeon stardom when she played the titular Carly on the show iCarly, but she got her first big role starring alongside Jack Black in the classic comedy School of Rock. During her time with Nickelodeon, she not only played Carly, but she also played the mischievous little sister Megan in the sitcom Drake and Josh. There's a neat little fan theory about that, but I won't get into it right now. Following the end of iCarly, Miranda seemed to disappear from the world of acting entirely, apart from lending her voice to the character Margot in the Despicable Me franchise. The reason being is she decided to go back to school. She used her iCarly cash to fund a degree at the University of Southern California, where she initially took film studies, but eventually shifted her focus to a major in psychology. She put her talents on pause, but following her graduation and her recent return to sitcom world, iCarly was revived for Paramount Plus last year. She's still not famous per se, but it is cool to see Miranda on screen again after so many years away. Number 8, Drake Bell. Drake and Josh. A sitcom that gifted us with some incredible one-liners and caused anyone named Megan to have their name screeched in their face in frustration. Megan! Drake Bell and Josh Peck starred as the titular Drake and Josh for 4 seasons before being cancelled in 2008. Following the cancellation, the 3 main cast members all went on to have semi-steady work, for a short while at least. Miranda Cosgrove, who we just talked about, played Megan and had some success in voiceovers, but she got her own sitcom and then dropped out of the acting world in 2015. Josh Peck starred in a few movies and TV shows here and there, but he's only recently made a return to the mainstream, appearing in the new Christopher Nolan film Oppenheimer. Drake has probably had the worst go of the crew. When the show was cancelled, his roles were limited to straight-to-video flicks and voiceover roles, starring as Spider-Man in the animated Ultimate Spider-Man series. The worst performance of all, though, was when Nickelodeon thought that it would be a great idea to make a live-action Fairly Odd Parents movie starring Drake as Timmy Turner. Berries! Needless to say, his status as a celebrity was gone at that point, but the nail was driven into the coffin in 2021 when Drake was sentenced to 2 years of probation and 200 hours of community service after it was revealed that he had been grooming a young fan for years. So if you see him in an orange jumpsuit on the side of the road or like cleaning graffiti off a wall, now you know why. Number 7, Amanda Bynes. Amanda got her lucky break on the Nickelodeon sketch series All That, which was essentially Nickelodeon's version of the late-night sketch show Saturday Night Live. It sported a stellar cast, including current SNL cast member Kenan Thompson, Drake Bell, and Lori Beth Denberg. Eventually, the producer decided to offer Amanda her own series. Her success only grew from there. The Amanda Bynes show became one of Nickelodeon's most watched series, and she was picked up by several studios to star in non-Nickelodeon projects, like She's the Man and Easy A. Amanda took a hiatus, however, in 2013 following a very public mental breakdown. In 2018, she told fans exactly what caused that breakdown. According to Amanda, she became addicted to the devil's lettuce at a very young age, and while it wasn't wasn't an addiction at first. With more roles came more pressure, and a need to find a new way to cope. This eventually led her to more drastic substances. She also believed that she wasn't pretty enough anymore to be in films, even taking Adderall as a way to help keep her skinny. In 2013, Amanda posted a series of bizarre tweets where she seemed to be insulting almost everyone that she could think of. Like, she called the former President Barack Obama ugly. Like, she's clearly referencing a character from The Amanda Show, but still. She was arrested and placed under psychiatric hold as she was accused of several hit-and-run incidents and was officially charged with reckless endangerment and criminal possession of herbs and spices. Her parents then placed her under a conservatorship until 2022, when she stood in front of a judge, healthier and better than ever, and ready to move on with her life. The judge said, okay, and Amanda is now free to live. So good luck, Amanda. There's a million kids who grew up with you, and we've all got your back. Number 6, Dan Schneider. Dan was never a star on camera other than a small role in the movie Good Burger, but without this man, we may not have a lot of beloved TV shows. Dan was a producer behind some of the biggest shows Nickelodeon had to offer, shows like Kenan and Kel, Drake and Josh, iCarly, Zoe 101, all classics that may have never been set to film without Dan at the helm. While Dan was producing well into the late 2010s, his career abruptly ended in 2018 when allegations were brought to light, alleging that Dan's behavior over the years was anything but wholesome. According to several set and cast members who've worked with Dan in the past, Dan has a massive temper that would regularly disrupt shoots, he's caused production delays on his own, ballooned the budgets of all of his shows, and there were several complaints about his verbal insults, reportedly emailing and texting cast and crew to complain about things during off hours. Like, hey man, I'm trying to watch Too Hot to Handle, can we just save this till tomorrow? The worst of them all, and what really got him fired, was the way that he was towards his younger cast. I won't go too far into detail because I would probably vomit on camera if I did, but let's just say that Dan is creepy creep who likes dem feet. Put it that way. Thankfully, he's been fired and will never make another penny off of that channel ever again. Number 5, Devon Werkheiser. You may not know Devon by his name, but his face certainly rings a middle school bell in your skull. Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide first premiered in September 2004. For those who missed out on this gem, it followed the titular Ned as he guided us through the daily struggles of attending middle school. It was an instant hit, and I personally watched every episode that they ever made. I basically grew up with this guy. After 3 seasons of the show, it was cancelled, leaving its cast to fend for themselves and find new work. Most of the younger cast members on the show decided to step away from the acting world, with Lindsay Shaw, who played Mose, being the only one with steady work, albeit in like low budget films, but still, it's work, and she's been doing that ever since the show ended. Now, Devon could have had a stellar career, but he said in recent years that following the end of the show, he just had no idea what he was supposed to do next. Devon was 15 when the show finished, and between then and the age of 25, he said he never really found his footing as an actor, always being called back for things but never actually hired. In his mid-20s, the residuals from Ned's finally ran out, forcing him to take his first ever 9-to-5 job. This was the wake-up call that he needed though, as he was finally motivated to do more, and thanks to many fans who were now adults DMing him and asking him when the next Ned's College or Adult Guide would be released. Well, Devon has begun doing a series of lectures across the United States in college and university campuses in an attempt to give advice on the wild world of adulthood. He's also begun a podcast with his co-stars Lindsay Shaw and Daniel Curtis Lee, who played Mose and Cookie, where the three break down behind-the-scenes facts about every episode of the show. So if you want a little bit of Ned's Declassified nostalgia, then check that out. Number 4, Matthew Underwood. Matthew played the rich boy with the puka necklace, Logan, on the hit series Zoe 101. The show followed the titular Zoe as she started her life at a new private boarding school, where wild and wacky situations ensue. The show gifted us some highly quotable lines and memorable moments that have surely stuck in your head since the show's cancellation in 2008. Matthew played a mean jock on the show, but his character had a lovable side that quickly won fans over. When the show ended, his life started going down a dark path. He found himself involved in some legal troubles after being caught in possession of a controlled substance, devil's lettuce, for which he received 12 months probation. He violated that probation when he entered a hookah bar, which he co-owned, in St. Lucille called Cloud 9. His criminal history was brief, but it was enough to get him blacklisted from the acting world. There is a nice ending to this story, however. After laying low and working on his mental health, Matthew actually ended up rescuing a baby from a crashed car along with both parents who had allegedly overdosed on warm needle juice. This act not only saved the baby, but a judge ruled that the parents were unfit and the child was given to a family member, and they're living happily ever after thanks to Logan. Matt is currently working behind the screen as a director on short films and indie projects, so hey, if you see that Zoey 101 reboot in the future, he's ready to go. Number 3. Jamie Lynn Spears. Continuing on the Zoey 101 train for a minute, Jamie starred as the titular Zoey in the hit series Zoey 101, alongside fellow entry on this list, Matthew Underwood. Her time on the show was well received and made many fans excited about what she may film next. When the show was eventually cancelled in 2008, Jamie was at the center of a massive media rumor. The theory was that Zoey 101 was abruptly cancelled due to Jamie becoming pregnant with her daughter. The reality was that that never happened. Jamie did get pregnant, but it was like 6 months after filming had wrapped on the series. The show was cancelled by the executives at Nickelodeon. For some reason, they felt that the show was done and just needed to replace it with something new and more colorful. Jamie actually did have plans to continue her career on the silver screen, but like we said, 6 months into looking for new work, a new job opportunity opened up, and it would be the most challenging job of all. The role of being a mom. She decided to move back to Mississippi and give up a career in film to raise her kid and be a star to her. It's not all missed opportunities, however, as Jamie is still remembered fondly as a musician, releasing several songs before 2010, and she's recently been popping up at several country and rock festivals to lend her voice to the crowd. Many fans will be happy to know that not only will there be a Zoey 101 flick released on Paramount Plus this fall, but it stars the entire original cast, and there's a trailer already out for us to enjoy. Number 2. Josh Peck. Josh made up the second half of the series Drake and Josh alongside musician and bad boy Drake Bell. Josh got his start on the Amanda Bynes show alongside Amanda Bynes, participating in several classic sketches before eventually moving into his own sitcom. Still considered to be one of the best shows that Nickelodeon ever produced. Josh's time on the show was wonderful. He delivered a zany, big-hearted brother vibe that went really well with Drake's rock and roll, I need love inside attitude. Following the cancellation of the show, Josh went on to star in several silver screen darlings like the underrated comedy Drillbit Taylor alongside Owen Wilson and the reboot of Red Dawn from 2012 alongside Chris Hemsworth. His career dipped in quality following that performance, however. Josh was starting to seem like another one of those Nickelodeon kids who was growing up to be a rambunctious and wild man instead of actually taking his job seriously. He lended his voice to several characters over the years, including various roles in the Ice Age films, but he's mainly stuck to small TV roles or indie flicks. He did maintain a following, however, as a few years ago he started posting TikToks that received millions of views. But recently, Josh has popped up on the cast list for Christopher Nolan's upcoming historical drama Oppenheimer, so perhaps this will mark his return to the acting world, and if it's in a flick like this, well, he might be on the road to Oscar territory. And at number 1, Nat Wolff. Nat Wolff and his brother Alex were the stars of the short-lived Nickelodeon series The Naked Brothers Band that premiered in 2007 following the success of the original Nickelodeon movie of the same name. When the show ended, Nat decided to move on from the on-screen world and focus on his career in music with his brother Alex. He did, however, make a handful of appearances in romantic dramedies like Paper Towns and Fault in Our Stars. Unfortunately, he took a role that he probably shouldn't have in 2017 when he played the character Light in the Netflix live-action adaptation of the anime series Death Note. In case you didn't know, the anime originated in Japan and stars Japanese voice actors. There is not a single actor of Japanese origin in the live-action flick, and Nat's performance was seen as nothing more than another example of Hollywood whitewashing for streaming services. He received a large amount of backlash from fans of the show and dropped out of the acting scene overnight. It wasn't until this past year that he reappeared on the small screen. Nat has been cast to play the love interest to Joe Exotic, Trevor, in the Peacock series Joe vs. Carol, a show based on the popular Netflix docuseries Tiger King. While that show hasn't really garnered the popularity that it really should, seeing Nat make a return to the scene is awesome. And as a fan of his show back in the day, I am hoping he collaborates with Alex for a horror film. After seeing Alex star in the 2017 horror pick Hereditary, it's like the only thing I can think about when I see these two. Those are the Nickelodeon stars that lost their fame overnight. Who did we miss, and would you like to see a part 2? Let us know in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, you should be receiving a DVD copy of Zoey 101 in the mail next week. As always, hit the like button if you enjoy our content. Thanks for stopping me on the screen today, and we'll see you next time.